Does the name the Landlord mean anything to you?
I mean, he is a landlord.
Who?
The other guy, okay?
William's other guy.
Yes. Has he done anything?
No, do you have an address?
I mean, you know, these are apartment towers.
It's a start.
Tamworth Tower.
She wanted me to kill her, and I don't understand why.
You.
Help us! Help us. And I will try to get her back to you.
Let one dog follow you, and I will help you. One dog.
Okay. This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
Tamworth Tower. The engine, having run hot all day, takes a few moments to spin down. The chassis made a slightly ticking, hacking noise as it cools down and settles. It's cold, rainy. Khan's binoculars have been at the window for the last 5 minutes. Complete silence. Anna's face is illuminated by her laptop as files and floor plans spin by. Khan doesn't remove the binoculars when he speaks, constantly keeping his eyes peeled on the 10-story run-down tenement building in front of him. It's just on the other side of Ruskin Walk. Gilbert must have been able to see the tower every day, and the tower, in return, has seen him. Khan mutters. A bit like coming home, this. I was born in a council flat, pretty much like in this complex, out in Manchester. Houses for heroes, Abba called it. It was the future. Streets in the sky, communal living, washing machines, architecture designed to elevate workers to dignity. Paradadishi said the estates looked like fairyland, the lights so bright. A modernist paradise where men have rights. Nothing like the slum tenements of Dickens that replaced them in the public British imagination. Not at first, at least. Now look at it. Left to rot by the city. It's a shame. He nods a little and squints through the binoculars at the sign, saying, "Construction of the Island Towers luxury apartment, slated to finish here summer 2012. Please contact Ash & Sons for more information." There's a sketch, already faded, of some luxurious silver monstrosity. Right here, this place, where Tamworth Towers slowly wait for death. Poor place, already doomed. Anna looks up. Yeah, good riddance. The whole council housing idea was a bust to begin with. The place is half empty now. Even the old gang days of the 90s were kinder to this place than this. Looks clear though, no strange movement as far as we can tell, but we didn't get here until about 45 minutes, an hour after sundown, so it is possible that people have entered and exited without us. She returns to her research. Khan keeps his gaze in the binoculars, looking floor after floor, the windows, most of them dark. Many of them boarded shut or with their blinds drawn. No music, no welcoming, homely lights. The facade lights in front of the green doors on the bottom floor have been busted ages ago. Only a single street light with its irregular coughing light illuminates the car park in front. This place must have been spectacular sometime in the 70s. It's stuffy in the car. Tension palpable. Birmingham's car glides up beside you, continues to a stopping point on the other side of the block. One after one, the team members check in, starting to take positions to surveil the apartment complex from all directions. Khan finally puts down the binoculars and looks over to you, Paul. So he is in there.
We know this.
This is a blank we haven't seen before. One whose identity we do not know for certain. Beyond... we can assume that he... How sure are we that he is even in there? And how sure are we of who he is?
I look out through the window. The rain. Most of the window is fogging over, so I rub it a bit with my arm. My head is feeling a little bit better as Xanax is slowly starting to leave the system now towards the later end of the day. I think back. Was it?
It's according to the witness you apprehended.
Nathan.
Yes. He had picture documentation. Anna throws up one of the stalker photos. Yes, that's the man. It could be any man, really. Could be someone's father or grandfather. None of the angles really show his face. But it's clear that on all these 3 photos he enters... No? Yeah, he is ushered in by somebody. Somebody holds the door open for him. But it's clear that he has been here on regular occasions, always being followed back here. The light in the pictures indicate that it is late night or very, very early morning. A faint grey light makes the entire picture grainy. Details blurred out.
I look over to Alice, and I say in a light tone, not a very charming location for someone high up in the food chain, would you say?
I hesitate a bit before I speak because I feel that when I try to tell them stuff, they don't take it really seriously. So I try to kind of think over what to say, so they will understand what I feel is true. I meet your gaze and I say, don't think we can assume anything. Just Javiera and Rudy seem to think that this was a very, very dangerous person and someone that we shouldn't and couldn't take on by ourselves. I think they are right.
I nod thoughtfully, and I look back up to the building again, and I say, musingly almost, if he is an old blank body who has somehow managed to gain more strength and weakness from the disease, and in that fight lost his humanity, then he needs to be put down. A daytime operation would perhaps be the wise way to go.
I agree. We have no idea what we are dealing with here. What powers or strength this creature is possessing. No idea.
There is no doubt that...
I don't want to... I both agree and don't agree with you. We have no intelligence on the... We have no intelligence on the capabilities of the suspect, Anna says. But what we do know is that the environment makes this difficult. And it's a hell of a place. Tambley Towers was constructed in 1968. It's in the later part of the Council Estates program here. It's kind of after the idealistic fervor had gone out and all the visionaries were dead, but they were built anyway. 10 stories, an outdoor sky street, common rooms, workshops, bicycle garages. It's heated by a massive 80-ton furnace on the cellar level. It's direct through ventilated. It's a castle of concrete for one last generation of tenants, because it seems that most of them have gotten eviction notices. I'll see what I can pull up. Yeah, it's not an unknown address to the local Met. Let me see. Give me a moment to compile this.
There is no doubt that this other being, Rudy, the dog, who apparently at will changes back into human form and then takes control over entire packs of dogs, exists and has that gift. So, as far as we know, we must assume that this landlord has the same power but over other people.
Yes.
It's what we've seen in Gilbert. It's what we've seen happen with Rupert controlling you that time. And I look over to Francis. I think we must assume that this person, whatever he is, he has other capabilities as well we might not know of. They all have a severe abundance of respect for him.
Naturally. That's why I'm investigating things. Francis, for most of this conversation, has been idly writing things in a notebook, conducting a few mental experiments, if you will, and trying to organise a few things on radio with teams, obviously all ready to be confirmed by Paul. He did scoff a little when Ellis mentioned creature. In his mind, he still doesn't see the difference between criminal, an infected individual, and actual creatures, but he doesn't say anything. He has been trying, in the time frame that they've had, to pull together a lot of the reports from previous encounters and also some of these first light documents that he's received from American intelligence, although that's mostly minimal. He's been focusing mainly on the case Paul and Ellis themselves reported. The blank body who told Ellis to shoot Paul, and she did so. Now, combining with what I've seen with this dog handling, I'm trying to work out exactly how such things could be possible. I've tried to come up with an idea where maybe if all heavily armed personnel in riot gear have closed helmets with a communication system that can only be accessed via radio so that they couldn't hear external sound but can receive orders through the headsets. That with visors. Could that disrupt any form of mental manipulation or magic tricks? I think to myself in annoyance.
As you think and as you hear Paul speak, you realize that his assumptions could be dangerous. If there's anything that is clear with the data, it is that assumptions are terribly dangerous to make at this point. Especially since logic dictates that mass cannot transform into another type of mass. The easier explanation is this is simply about controlling the black dog, not shape-shifting into it. That would also adhere or streamlined to the seeming ability to command that some of these specimens have exhibited.
Either way, I've, with Paul's permission, attempted to at least administer some of my theory, merely as precaution. Obviously, at the time frame we've had, it probably wouldn't be possible, or only possible with a limited few, but it's something for at least future thought.
There are several incident reports which corroborate that commands have been spoken, sometimes amplified, sometimes face-to-face, but there seems to be a record of commands. Yes, verbal commands. It's nothing that has been studied in detail, and it's only a handful, less than a dozen reports. It's just hard to make conclusions. But there seems to be two commonalities. The almost always, or in all cases except one, the clear physical presence of the command giver. The second, the verbal command. And thirdly, it seems they have always sought eye contact. All of the cases of people on the first light list who have been pulled away from sins after being under the influence have all, in all of their testimony, the black eyes, the wells, the blood storms, whatever they are called, are always central. One of the first three sentences is always the eyes.
That itself is very interesting, and certainly helps my theory a little of the concept of extremely potent, I admit, hypnotic suggestion. That is, after all, possible, just not normally on this level. But then again, I'm slowly trying to give Ellis some doubt that yes, some things are beyond what is normal.
I sigh a bit. The thing with what I remember from being having this power used on me is that it feels completely logical to do the suggestion. It's just afterwards, when you look at what you've done, that you can't understand why you would even do such a thing. I would never fire at you, Paul, you know that, but at the time it felt like this is what I need to do now. And that scares me as well, that you are not even aware that you are being commanded or taking over. You kind of make it logical in your mind somehow. I don't know if that is in your notes, Francis, but that is my experience with it.
I nod. I have noted that because I imagine I have spoken with Alice at least once on the matter. For now, though, I just sigh and say to Paul, yes, well, I'm trying my best with what we have. If we are able to get my little system in place, it could help, it could not help, but again, I feel it's better than absolutely no defense or protection.
I know you mentioned pheromones at some point. Do you suggest the men have gas masks as well?
Possibly, yes. After all, perhaps infected individuals are able to emit different pheromones than normal, maybe even control them. Science fiction, yes, but admittedly, in plant life world, for example, that is not unknown. You know, plants are able to...
As he goes on, I space out a little bit. I rub my nose bridge, looking out at the wind through the window that is once again starting to fog up. Yeah, I can't see. The only reason why we would push this and go in earlier without further surveillance would be to prevent a night such as yesterday, but even so, don't know if that would reoccur or if it's just a one-time act out of passion.
I look to Ellis and say, really would be more helpful is more coherent interrogation of Shiveria, which we will need you for, Ellis. But at the same time, you really are going to one day finally speak to her normally. None of this emotional, you have to eat me business. Actual conversation. For example, you keep saying this individual over there, you look over, unbeatable. If he's unbeatable, why does he not rule the UK? Why do people like Rudy exist? If he's unbeatable, why has he not eliminated all the other gangs?
Yeah,
Do you see my point? He clearly has some limitations.
she didn't say that he was unbeatable. She said that if I drained her, and I look uncomfortable saying this, I would have a chance to withstand him, otherwise not. That was how she phrased it.
Wonderful.
And it's really hard to have a conversation with someone that wants to die by someone else drinking all their blood. But I will try if you want me to.
Again, trying to get some actual facts. Each time we've spoken to her, admittedly, fair enough, her body composition is still critical. She immediately goes into paranoia, overreaction, exaggeration. There's no person we're talking to. It's like trying to convince a zealot that they don't need to be a zealot. But we need to try.
Anna's eyes are wide as she looks at you, Ellis. She doesn't need to say anything. Yes, they've all had erratic behaviors. You too. It's the thirst, the hunger.
In fact, as I look to her, the unfortunate truth is so far the only individual we had who seemed, at least operating on some normal level, was the one who we accidentally incinerated.
I think we left normal behind us a very long time ago. And I'm trying to adapt to this new way of thinking, this illogical, motion-filled reality that I have entered into, but I don't think she is crazy. I think she speaks the truth as she sees it, with her knowledge. I don't like it, I don't want to do it. I mean, she's a person. But
I think at this point it's very important that we just remember who we are and the way we are doing things. We are all part of a unit, which in turn is part of the London police force, and even though the strangeness of this situation has escalated rapidly the past few weeks, after us together doing years of research, doing smaller operations, trying to tie things together, we don't play a game which involves consuming infected blood and hoping to gain strength from it. That's what they do. So, since we're all part of this, and we call ourselves London's finest, and I think we should all remember that that's how we do things.
Yeah.
And
Fine.
if it's better that we go in through a daytime operation to try and negate these apparent holds that this person has on people, then that's what I think is the logical way of doing it.
I agree with you, Paul. You see, Ellis, and I sigh a little. It's not that I don't believe you, or even believe the individual. It's the fact that our current knowledge of what would happen is incomplete. For example, you believe what Shiveria says. You kill her, consume her blood, and then you will be able to take on this man. How? You're going to suddenly become a god? You will be able to walk through walls, explode things with your mind? Maybe the whole unit can just sit back while you go in by yourself and take out the individual. Is that what will happen? Like a
I don't know,
comic book?
Francis.
That's enough,
I don't
Francis.
But I don't want this unit to be wiped out because we go in and do something that we have no idea about. And we have a person that knows things.
Then, yes, we also know things. Fortunately, we do know things. We fortunately have the conviction record and all the records of patrols visiting this address to go by, to give us some idea what we're dealing with. But when you said that we left normal behind, I'm inclined to agree with you. If not otherwise, Tamley Towers is not normal. There's been 24 bodily damage incidents in the last 4 months alone. 2 of them left bodies. One is still unidentified. It's a shame to say it, but it's not really anything out of the ordinary. A place like this, yeah. The whole thing is slated to go down 2012. Natives are getting restless, I guess. It's like a 40-20 split of Jamaican, Indian and Pakistani families. Dozen from places I can't pronounce, Russia and so on. The Brits here are old or crazy or junkies, I would say. It's the very best South London has to offer. There's also a lady running a social centre protesting the demolition on the 2nd floor. It's been in the local newspapers, hasn't made national yet. Let's keep it that way. So it seems to have got quite a bit of support going on locally here. And this soon after GH is bound to have maybe some extra guests there.
Do we know anything about which apartments?
Let's see. Brighton's reported there are 3 tents in the landfill area. Some maybe half a mile to the north of the tower. In that small copse of woods. See, the homeless people are protesters.
Why this place? Why not somewhere fancy in a banking district?
At the other reports, we have 2 known apartment brothels. There's a medium of like a freaking baker's dozen of police calls from this place a month. Drugs, robberies, nothing worth making the news outside the school newspaper or the local free press, really. But you know, yeah, Croydon is Croydon.
I suppose that's the way he likes it then.
Yeah, you know, building is booming in London and no one wants to hear about the dregs right now.
If anything, I'd argue it's the perfect place to hide if you wanted to run your criminal organisation, didn't want to be disturbed, and have a perfect building that, well, to get in we're going to need to come up with a plan, because a warrant isn't going to cut it. It's possible that every single person in the building could be either infected or the partial infections, I've noted, that make one susceptible to joining the gang or joining the groups, if you will.
I don't think this place is a stranger to the formation of small, internally very loyal, violent groups. I mean, okay, it's not 95 anymore, but still there's a fair bit of robberies around here, and robberies usually means some sort of organized gangs. So
I guess,
expecting armed resistance is not impossible, considering we've confiscated 1 shotgun, a friggin' katana, and a couple of homemade hand grenades here during the last month. There are 2 elevators, 4 staircases, there's garbage disposal shafts. This is... it does not seem to connect to anything in the sub-basement. It's hard to know, these plans are old, and there's been a new power main drawn through this area underground through a culvert. That culvert could intersect, cross, or open into the sub-basement. But that's hard to know.
I look to Paul and Ellis as I say, well, there is the other matter that was discussed where potentially, if it's possible to manipulate other individuals, we could get some assistance, but of course, I'm still leaving that in your hands. I say, looking to Paul and Alice.
I'm not following.
I don't know what you mean.
Food, I say, looking at Anna in her eyes. It's a great way to have sustenance. Nobody cares what happens with these people. There are cops here all the time, everybody gets cut, and there's a lot of violence. If someone dies or it will probably just be thrown under the rug of everything else that's going on. He has a perfect setup here for food, is my guess.
Well, the upside of all that is that raid on the place, disguised as to be under the normal police, wouldn't be such a hard thing to stage. Compared to entering a high-end apartment in one of the finer districts.
I agree, Paul. The only issue will be how to get as many potential innocent at least, out of the building first. Otherwise, we go in, and I look at Ellis and say, for once, I'm trying to see things from your point of view. If everyone is under some sort of either mental or physical persuasion to stop us, you see the problem. We could be shooting civilians, our target gets away, and in the newspapers it's police bungle another operation.
What do you suggest then?
Could we stage a fire drill or something? An evacuation?
It's all quiet
yes.
now. It's, considering if there's this number of police, if the police interrupts the activities of this place as much as Ketwara says, then just moving in shouldn't be much of a hassle. There's probably been bigger SWAT raids than yours here only in the last year. Yeah, but that's strange. It doesn't seem to be... It's not a busy night. There's almost no one outside. There. But that's probably Foster. Yeah, he's in plain clothes and sitting on a bench across the parking lot, trying to look a bit drunk, but he's probably just actually sleeping a little bit, nodding off. Him to a couple crossing the parking lot from their car. Not much. And then this is Parkland Leeds. Come. We have movement on floor 7 this side. Movement on floor 7. A window has been open. 2 windows are open. There's a man standing in the window, looking outside. Please advise. Leads out.
I pick up my binoculars and I try to look in the direction that they indicated.
The leads should be at the corner, yes. There, one of the corner windows. It's lit. Brightly lit. You can hear the slight boom of music as the windows are open. Distant thumping bass of something. Rhythmic. First you think it's some sort of weird decoration or a torn banderolier like some of the ones on the lower floors that says equal housing rent now. Maybe just a flag for the local football team. But no, this is not just a flag. It's a thin man in a coat that is flapping in the wind. And he's standing on the ledge of the window, holding its frame with both of his hands, leaning his weight forward over the 7-story drop.
I look at this man as if he's about to jump out the window, and I murmur that, just that, as I look at him.
Oh, by the grace, no. And then a piece of blackness detaches and he falls. So fast. He falls so fast. You can't hear the bang. The body is on the asphalt. Completely silent. He jumped! This leads, it's affirmative, he jumped. There's another person standing up in the window after him, looking out. The same thing, it's a woman, apron, early 40s. Please advise, leads out.
Leeds, do you have visual on the ground where he landed?
This is Shepard Brighton. I'm moving into that position now. I'm moving towards the casualty. You hear some scraping from Shepard. You see lights. You hear a scream. A high-pitched scream. Somebody swearing. A woman screaming loudly. Broken glass. Fuck, somebody's discovered him. Yeah, this is Shepard. Local family looks like they found him. Yeah, they got phones out and they're calling the cops.
Blank body?
I'll investigate. You see Shepard's hunched shoulders as he moves up to the crying woman. She's short, hunched, with her hair tied up in a scarf. I didn't know him, but he's just gone now. He's the guy on the 7th floor. He was never outside. It was like, what happened? It's this demolition. It's getting on everyone's nerves. So there. Shepard consoles her. Their dialogue comes in over the radio. Easy. You know, what was his name? I'm with the police. We got this in hand. What was his name and apartment number? That's Francis Watkins, 743. 743. Somewhere far away, the wailing of sirens begins. Khan packs down his binoculars and sits back in the car with a sigh. So the circus has started, Paul.
Yeah. What do you think it's supposed to mean?
I just very quickly remarked to Paul, well, if we didn't know if they knew we were here, someone in that building definitely will know we're here now they've seen police move that quickly on a body that just fell out a window.
I would give Shepard the benefit of the doubt. Yes, the local he interacted with knows. Nobody else from the window knows. This could be a precaution. Why isn't the woman jumping? She's stepped inside again, yeah? Look, here, take the binoculars. He gives the binoculars to you, Paul. Yes, the woman has stepped inside again. She's looking bewildered around her. Actually, she's lost and she's looking down. And then a scream. Like a seabird, she screams. Very, very keening, high-pitched note.
Did he control him and her and then just dropped it as she fell out? Is there a purpose to this?
Sirens coming closer. 2 police cars and an ambulance. Must have been close by in the area, no more than a couple of blocks away. You can see their lights now down on the highway.
Good. We should let them move in and investigate.
Shepard, I'm disengaging. Moving back to you. It seems the woman is... There are other people coming out. I'm trying to not expose myself.
Good.
I'll go wave the ambulance here. You stay here, and don't you worry. It's all gonna be good. It's like, just make sure we don't know what has happened. Let the ambulance people do their job. Shepard tries his best to console her, then half runs towards you, dodging between a couple of semi-busted up cars, coming up and knocking on your window. Hey.
Yeah.
That was that was not then infected. At least he broke like a human breaks, you know.
Yeah. Normal injuries.
It's massive skull trauma. He's not gonna make it. It's almost like he didn't even attempt to land on his feet. Maybe unconscious during the fall. It's pretty grisly.
I see. Did you see anything else, hear anything else when you were up there? How were the people you talked to?
There was just this woman. She mostly wailing, mostly speaking in some language I do not get on the phone, so who knows. There were a couple of others coming out. I think one of them was Yeah. I don't know, one of them looked like janitor or something.
Right. What we have here is an opportunity to either one of us get in there and approach this with the regular officers and trying to get a picture of the inside now that we have a reason to go in. Or we just let them do their jobs and see what we can learn from them on the other as they finish things up and then they interrogate people up there.
There's definitely a benefit to your plan, Paul, but I confess I'd worry about the safety of anyone who went in there in a small number.
You think the police officers? Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, but if it's for this reason, and if it's not clearly a storming of the building, people should have no reason to react violently to their approach.
Indeed.
I do agree.
So, Paul, Count says, you still have operational command. We have Chelsea, Tottenham, Brighton, Leeds, Birmingham. All in position, north, west. We are southeast. Brighton north, Leeds southwest, Tottenham east, Chelsea north. Yeah, no, that Chelsea southeast, that's us. Currently we have no one outside except for Shepherd and Foster, who is watching the entrance and exits. Any orders?
I don't see an imminent need to storm this place.
No, that was not what I meant. I do see a possibility to contain. You understand?
Yeah.
This person we are tracking could be anyone, including any one of those 5 people on the parking lot right now. For all we know, the thing we seek could wear the face of that dead man lying there on the ground.
Yeah.
So, with keeping that in mind, what are your orders, Paul?
For now, I think we need to gather more data, more surveillance. The best time to move in would still be during the day, according to everyone's assessment.
What do we do with locals? Residents?
What do you mean? Now?
Yeah, do we let them come, go? Look at those 2. They are on the way down to the bus stop. One of them seems to be a gentleman, maybe he's 50s, 60s. Got a woman, same age, right there. Hey, let me. He shows you in the binoculars. Yes, they have made their way out the back door. Even at night, people come and go.
Yeah. No, I would suggest basic surveillance, leave maybe one team, the rest of us get back and prepare for a raid.
Very well.
The thing I don't get is why, if this was someone that told him to jump out of this window, why? Is it to show that he knows that we are here, or was this a regular suicide? Who is this man?
I agree.
That
I agree with that.
jumped?
It is what I was thinking about as well with what you suggested there, Francis. This was a test somehow. Check people's reaction.
Assumptions. Kitwara raises his hand. Remember, Baker's does his police calls every month. We can't rule out that this is just random chance. And you know, how often do people jump from here? 5 a year, maybe? Could just be happenstance, but yeah, I'm afraid you were right. But why? This.
I would rather talk to the unit that goes in after they've gone in and finished up talks.
The bright blue lights illuminate the parking lot. The bushes between you and the accident site throw sharp, dark, dagger-like shadows over your faces. 2 police cars, 1 civilian car, and an ambulance. The yellow sides of the ambulance rip open and EMTs jump out. One of them with a stretcher, but they don't have to take more than 3-4 steps before they slow down, seeing the starfish-like pattern surrounding the jumper.
Ellis, are you suggesting that this was a distraction then, in order for him to come out? Or is that what you mean, Khan?
Could be.
I mean, for us to come
Could
out.
be. If he wants to come out, this would be a way to do it. But does he want to?
Or maybe he wants us to come into that apartment.
You have been in the basking in the dubious radiance of this person's actions for a longer time than me. I trust your gut much more than my own in this.
He enjoys taking control of people, like dolls, having them do things for him, playing his power game. Perhaps getting someone to jump from a window is just Saturday night leisure for him, or part of the violence spree that he started yesterday.
Yes, but this is different. This is on his home turf. That's different. Very different.
How so?
There's a saying in these parts. Everyone who ever run with a crew of heavy boys knows that you do not shit where you eat. Seems reckless somehow.
True, but again, if he is aware that we are here, if he's aware that we could send a strike team at any moment, it's exactly what I was saying earlier.
Yes, but
Collateral.
is he
assuming.
aware? How is he aware? What is the point of contact? We know one of the gentlemen with cell phones who surveilled your assault at the townhouse in Soho. One of them got away, other two are apprehended. None of them seem to have gotten their messages off, but that leaves one person. Yes. His whereabouts we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Khan,
I don't know if you
But
would
it's a
even
long
assume.
chain. It's a long chain. Then we are assuming that this surveillance was done on behalf of this landlord character. That is also an assumption.
Not only that he would also in turn react or somehow know that Nathan would have us sent here.
Yes.
I agree. Too many assumptions.
Well, what are the assumptions being made on the briefing you gave us, Khan and Newberg, way back when this all began? To assume that it is not simply these groups aren't just individuals, but they are connected in some way. We have connections going all the way to government, after all. Have you had any luck with what Mr. Newberg was up to when he removed one of our prisoners and moved them somewhere else?
It's hard for me to question the judgment of Newberg. His work in signal intelligence and his work with modeling the spread of this thing that we are fighting, together with his political connections, his career, his peerage, all of those things make it hard for me to question his judgment. And in addition, I do believe that he is well informed.
The problem is if we aren't.
Yes. There will always be things kept from... It's frustrating to work in intelligence work, because we have to compartmentalize. Even within our organizations, everyone cannot know everything. There comes a risk, a liability, but I do agree. It is an almost filial bond Newberg's group have, like if they are a breed apart, not quite liaisoning with the special division branches or the Met or even the MIs. to any larger degree. To begin with, we chalked it up to his arrogance of suddenly having come into massive funding for a new signal intelligence program, the largest since the Second World War. The towers changed everything, and in Newberg's case, it was the thing that made his career, turning Great Britain into one of the most foremost big data analysis pioneers when it comes to intelligence. We assumed it was formed out of nothing, but nothing arises from nothing. Newberg's own family, the state. He gesticulates towards Ellis, the pictures of the estate. They all point towards the same direction. As you say, there are people of influence involved. People from all parties. People from all angles.
What I don't understand is why he would take one of our suspects.
Simply because he made the judgment that it was more dangerous for us to handle him than to take him out of the equation. Why? I do not know. It seems like we were robbed of our strongest playing piece in one fell stroke by an ally, no less.
Convenient, isn't it?
Yes, very convenient.
I see the police cars arriving and the policemen starting to go about their business, asking people. And as I see they approach the building, I call to fire team leads. Doyle, I want you to be our eyes on the inside. Can you join that police team as they go up?
I'm shambling out as we speak, sir. It should be fine. I will just be in the back. I'm just some ride along from police school or something. Pray they don't have to let me show me ID, because I only have my credentials will look a little fishy, but no worries, I'll get in there. I'm taking Foster Brighton. Will you rendezvous with me at the door? Front door. In 5. No, now.
Go.
You see your people move out of the 2 parked cars. The other police officers are engaged in taking down notes from the suspect. One of them is looking at the deceased. The paramedics are carefully moving the body onto a black plastic sack. They're cleaning up. It's gonna take long. Doyle hangs back a little bit, and then a team of 3, 2 women, maybe in their 40s, one black-haired, one blonde, and a small, dark and thick-set little man in all 3 in uniform, go marching up towards the door with Doyle in tow. There are 2 other curious residents who hang back a little bit, but look. In the parking lot, in the shadows, on the other side of the road, in the semi-detached brownstone buildings, more and more figures are coming out, looking at the scene. The bright lights calling to everyone. Something freaky happened here, and everyone is curious to stand at 15 to 20 meters distance, gaping, seeing a body turning away. Maybe it's the first time. Someone closes the door and the kids try to go out. Another crew, maybe 4 or 5, are keeping further back in the darkness and following what is happening with great curiosity.
I open a thermos and I start pouring myself a cup of coffee, the last drops that I have left in it. Yeah.
I hesitate again, but Paul, you will probably say no, and I understand if you do, but if you want to, I could go in there and remain unseen.
Do you want to?
No, but I could.
Let's see what first impression we get.
Yes.
This is a door we're in the hallway. Oh, Christ, it stinks. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is the back door. It looks like the front door, but shit, there's garbage piled up here. Oh, shit, there's a both. Okay. Half team is going up the stairs. I'm going up the stairs. The other half is taking the elevator. I'm going up. You hear the banging of his footsteps as he goes up the staircase. Takes a while. The police cars have got company. 2 other cars have stopped close by. One, a van. The second one, a town car. From the first one spills 2 bleary-eyed, tired, plainclothes people. One of them immediately brings up a camera and starts flashing, getting a shot of the body being lifted into the ambulance. It's the ambulance chasers, the press, the paparazzis, the vultures, whatever you may call them. Soon, gawkers and bystanders will freely add their own subjective versions of the truth, then to be spread for public consumption as an accurate report. One of them is from the Sun. You can see the sticker on the side. The other one is just unmarked, somebody's private car, probably.
Anna, do you think you can pull the name from the victim from the police unit?
By all means, yeah. I think we did get an apartment number 743, I think.
Francis Walkins, was it?
Yes, that is correct. Francis Walkins, married, 2 children, 18 and 24, 72 years of age.
Did you say 72?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, he is old. Yeah, these are just... He's probably got kids in a previous marriage as well. New wife, moved in 2 years ago. Yeah. No, he's been living it all his life.
Nothing sketchy there.
A lawnmower repairman, mostly it seems. Working with machines. Navy, originally.
Where did he work?
He worked pretty close to the train yard, in the machine shop there. He's servicing self-driving lawnmowers. Seems to be his main job for the last 5 years. Before then, he's been at sea. Yeah. There's been 2 cases of domestic violence, but it's been the kids and him in shouting matches. Not the best relationship there, but that's all I can get.
Yeah.
Of all the people in this place, he is not one of the more unnormal or fucked up. It's a pretty straight shooter, it seems. He lives in one of the 3-bedroom apartments. It's a 92 square meter thing.
The 7th floor, is that the top floor?
No, it's there are 3 floors above it, 10 floors. And from the looks of it, there are 2 or 3 basement floors as well. The last one probably just the construction, maintenance, probably not even livable down there. So that's what we have. Oh, my wife is 46, and she is also a resident of a second address in what looks like Islington.
Do we actually... I imagine it won't be accurate, but do we have even national census data of who actually officially lives in this building?
No, he is one who is he is officially registered to this address, but that is because he's been here since forever.
Of course, I'm talking about the rest of
There are other unreliable second-hand leases and so on, and most of that paperwork doesn't even go on record. So these are glimpses that we get.
I say to Paul, to be honest, I highly doubt the landlord would... Either he'll have a false address, or no address at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a name.
How does it look on the inside, Doyle? Is there a lot of people?
We're by the door. We're up here. Yes, sir. I am checking, so let's see if what kit we should bring. No, there's Reina. She's interrogating the wife. She's quiet. Yeah, doesn't say much. She just sits there at the record player.
Loiterers? People in the corridors?
Yes, there's a few looking at us right now. There was 2 doors that just opened, police chain, and then shut. There's this little kid looking at me. Hey kid.
Yeah. Just wave and smile.
It might be worthwhile, Paul, though it might be relevant if checking if Nat is any way linked to this man. Going back to your theory that perhaps this is part of the series of violent crimes being connected to people who knew Nat or Gilbert and all that.
Yeah. Nat should by this point be back at our base. That's where we took him, right? For custody and possibly further questioning.
Unless you have him in one of the other cars.
Yeah, that's true. He did originally go with Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be with them unless he was deemed somehow hazardous or...
He hasn't made any noise so far. He's, apart from being a bit talky according to some of Tottenham's reports.
Yeah. Well, that's fine then. We've got him there. So I... on your behest, Francis, I contact Tottenham.
Fighting 1 Tottenham. This is Moss. What can I do for your boss?
Could I have a little chat with Nat if he's there?
I am absolutely certain that he will oblige you. I can't answer if you're gonna be little, but here he is. Hello there. So, do you see what a dreary place this is, yeah?
I see. Dreary enough for
high-rise,
things like this to happen.
High-rise is no way for a man to live. That's what I always say.
Did you see what just happened there, Nat?
Yes, I did. Splattered on the pavement from the 7th floor.
Are you familiar with any people that live here, except this rival of yours?
No. I would not be caught dead here if I couldn't help it. If there's deliveries to places like this, I tend to stay in the car. Thank you very much.
The name Francis Walking's ring any bells? Lawnmower repairman?
No. Not
Thank you.
At all. And it's quite ghastly, isn't it?
I'm just putting down the radio and let's go on for a little bit
This is my fault.
as I start talking to the rest of the team.
Somebody said he lived at wife.
Well, that seems that.
Yeah, he fades away.
See if there's anything else to see, and nothing further out of the ordinary now then.
Doyle here.
What you got, Doyle?
Nothing, except that family's been hit with a compulsory purchase order from the looks of things. And yeah, they're trying to fight it, but there's an eviction hearing with the council next month. So yeah, they were getting chucked out.
Who's driving the order?
Compulsory purchase order. They gave them a really shame bid as well. In fact, this got to be worth more than 100,000 when I put it here. Considering the thing they're gonna build.
Who's driving the order? Who's pulling the strings?
Yeah, this Ash & Sons, the development company, seem to be the ones that are signing this. I'm standing with it right here in my hand, on my phone. It's yeah.
Any names?
And then there's plenty of leaflets from this radical housing initiative. It's probably the community center on floor 2. From all looks of things. Yeah. It's there's some fighting spirit here, but so yes, she blames that, I think. She blames that. Him being homeless, not being able to deal with adapting to some other place, lived there all his life, father before him.
What was the name of the company again? Rise?
Ash & Sons.
Ash & Sons.
Yes.
And they want to redevelop the place.
Apparently, wanting it and having the rights to do it enough to put up signs.
Anyone not getting evicted, or are they trying to clear out the building?
Oh, too early for me to know that. Shall I make some little quiet inquiries?
We're just thinking about these notices, if they were on all doors.
No, this one was in the mailbox. So no, but the housing initiative signs, they're taped up everywhere, every floor. Some of them got phone numbers, the little weird things you can pull off. Yes.
How long has this all been going on for, Anna? How long has this company been trying to get this building renovated and these people out?
One moment. Let me see. The deal seems to have been in progress for better part of maybe 1 or 2 years. There seems like the first offer was made in 2004. Yes, that's the first bid. That didn't go through, there was an offer. Then the municipality and the Council of Croydon opened up for private sale of council flat grounds just 1 year ago. Yes, it's 1 year ago. The deal was signed, and here is the councilman who signed it. It's Philip Scriven.
Philip Scriven. I look to Ellis as I say, interesting if an individual called Landlord lived here and it was his little kingdom. I wonder how they would feel about someone trying to buy it out from them. I wonder if maybe how much could they interfere with this process?
I'm more wondering if he's somehow behind the whole thing, getting the wrong people out and making sure it's just people that he wants himself in there.
That's also possible, yes. Philip Scrivener, you said?
Councilman Philip Scrivener.
I just shrug. Bit distracted.
And on the other side there is Liza Dumbrovic, who is the signage for Ash & Sons. And there's a legal firm attached, and so on and so forth and so forth.
I notice Ellis looking a bit distracted, and I sort of chuckle a little and I say, not finding this very interesting, are we, Gabrielis? It's almost as if our creature is hiding himself in a very real world. Don't you find that interesting?
I don't know, Francis. I don't know. I'm just waiting for orders.
I look to Paul and just nod and say, well, Paul, what do you think?
I look back towards the building again, and I see the crowds gathering. I see the curious kids, teens randomly milling about, people looking out, some perhaps standing on a balcony. Well, anything we did now would just stir up the hornet's nest further. You think there's any point in Doyle checking more in there about Ash and Sons?
I'd say it couldn't hurt, but I do agree with you, and yes, Alice, I agree with you as well. I'm starting to think that at this stage any drastic action is just going to either have collateral damage or be ineffective.
Right, when Doyle, you can have a little talk with the neighbors, perhaps? See if you can steer the conversation that way.
What do you say?
Oh yeah, I tried this.
How do you have
I don't think this is gonna work. Not right now anyway.
He was affected. But why are you tearing this place down?
Making my way down one stair so you can hear me even. Yeah, there's a hell of a ruckus up there. I don't think the local cops are going to stay around for much longer.
No.
There's the first bottle breaking up there. Yes. Order, sir. There's seems to be altercation.
Yeah, just get out of there. Let's not provoke anything.
Yes, I'm pulling the bobbies as well. Hey, come on, people, get out of here. Let's come back when we have something proper to show you. And you fucking punks, stay indoors.
I whispered to Paul, "You see what I meant, Paul? Perfect shield. We're not getting in there without causing a scene unless we have a plan."
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the chronicle No Man is an Island for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Our storyteller was Martin Ericsson, and we were also joined by Anna-Karin Linder. The music was created by Lola Zaza, and the sound effects are from the fine folks at freesound.org and Sirenscape. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, and David Hagberg for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. And remember, death is not the end.